Hi, and welcome to the channel. What if I told you that 6 months of emergency food storage doesn't require a bunker, doesn't require freeze-dried pails of food or tens of thousands of dollars? In this video, today's video, emergency food storage is going to be made simple. It's going to be a 6-month system for real life and real budgets. I am going to show you exactly how I store food for our household using everyday foods you already recognize. And here is the part that a lot of people get wrong. It's not about how much food you store, it's about how the system works together. This video is the start of a series, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand how to build a calm, flexible, realistic emergency food storage system without panic buying or overwhelm. And stay with me because we are going to go from location to location within the house and see how this whole system works together. And about a third of the way through, I'm going to show you a mistake that causes most food storage systems to fail, even when people think that they are fully prepared. Welcome back. Let's talk about reality for a second. Emergency food storage isn't about doom and gloom. It's about peace of mind. It's about protecting against job loss, supply chain disruptions, weather emergencies, illnesses, or just tighter grocery budgets. I don't know about you, but I've definitely felt it. Our family definitely has. Food security gives you breathing room. It buys you time. It lowers stress in ways that you don't realize until you have it. This system is built for real homes, real families, and real budgets. Not perfection, not fear, just preparedness that fits into normal life. This is a system our family has used for about a decade. Before I show you our kitchen pantry upstairs, before I show you our freezers in this series, I need to clear something up. So 6 months of food storage does not mean 6 months of freeze-dried meal. Like I was saying, huge pails of freeze-dried food. No, this works in real life and you eat it and rotate it all the time. So that means you have staple calories, you have proteins, you have fats, you have familiar foods, really important. And also multiple ways to turn ingredients into amazing meals. This is a layered system, and today I'm going to show you the foundation. Foundation, when you're building something, the foundation is critical. It is the most important, so that's what we're going to talk about. Let's you and I start with the backbone of the system. So that would be dry staples. These are stored in large sealed totes, and they make up the bulk of the calories. Here's what you're going to see in my totes. There's pasta. Pasta is cheap, filling, versatile, and shelf stable. And it pairs well with canned sauces, home canned meats, condiments, or just butter and seasoning. Rotini, macaroni, spaghetti, fettuccine, and there's some penne in there. Our pasta is contained in 2 totes, and there's a lot of it. It's condensed calories, large amounts of calories without a lot of weight. And it goes a long ways in feeding the 2 of us and 5 children. The next major carbohydrate is rice. Rice is over here, and it is a survival staple for a reason. We actually have 160 pounds of rice in these 2 totes. And why would I have that much rice? Well, it's a long shelf life, it's high calorie, and it makes it easy to stretch meals. White rice stores longer than brown rice, which has a higher oil content. So we tend to store a lot more white rice than brown rice. Moving along with carbohydrates, we're going to talk about oatmeal. Both of these totes are full of oatmeal. Oatmeal it's comfort food and emergency food. You can do breakfast, you could do savory meals, you can do baking. You can also use it to thicken soups. Oatmeal is super versatile, and there is a lot of calories in these 2 totes. Dry beans are the next thing, and they are a protein, there's fiber, and there's carbohydrate calories all in one, and they are sitting right in here. And this tote is a heavy one. There is black beans, pinto beans, lentils, and chickpeas. These are really cheap insurance against hunger. When mixed with rice, you get a complete protein. Flowers, not roses or daisies, but all the flours that you can make bread, muffins, pancakes, flatbreads, dumplings, the list goes on and on. This is how staples turn into real meals. We make our own homemade Bisquick recipe that you can turn into waffles or biscuits or pancakes, anything you want really. Our teenage boys made waffles out of them this morning, in fact. These flours are very heavy and they are kept in large totes right on the floor, but I've put them on wheeled sleds, which I'll demonstrate here in a minute. As you can see, we not only store bread flour and daily grind flour, but we store corn flour and corn grits, as well as we store wheat berries for fresh grinding. Flour does not store well years and years and years, so that's why we keep wheat berries for that purpose. Now, some of you have talked to me in the comments about humidity and everything, and I'm going to touch on that in just a minute. But the next thing I want to talk about is milk powder. This is absolutely huge. We use milk powder primarily for baking with. We can also use it for drinking. It's also a part of many comfort foods. For example, homemade mac and cheese. Milk powder turns stored food into familiar food, plus it adds that needed protein. Here is an important note. If you live in high humidity or hot climates, you may need Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, some gamma lids on pails, some climate controlled storage. I don't have that challenge as we live in a very dry area, but food storage is always climate specific, so adjust for where you live. The next thing we're going to talk about is this amazing rotating can system, and we are going to go into this room right here. You can see the light comes on as soon as I open the door. There's a little pressure switch that allows it to do that, so the light's always off in our cold room when we're not in there. But at this point, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button that tells the YouTube algorithm that more people should see this. There's also a new button on YouTube, one that helps me as a creator. It's called the hype button. If you can hype this video, I really appreciate it. With that being said, you can also support this channel by supporting your own preparedness. In the description, there are links to products that I use and believe in. There is my Amazon storefront, my freeze-dried food solution store, Thrivalist, which also teaches survival courses. There's also a link to flashlight provider Reuben Lights and precious metal provider Silver Gold Bull. I buy from all these sources and I've made it really easy for you to prepare as well, using my experience to your advantage. Again, I thank you for your support in this and keeping content like this free for you. Let's get back to the video. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we're going to take this in layers, and the next layer is our canned foods. There is more canned foods in there, but we're going to talk about these rotating shelves. These are stored in rotating shelves, and that is intentional. These rotating shelves are one of the best-selling items on my Amazon storefront. Why? Because rotation really matters. Cans are super easy to use, but they are super easy to forget how many you have or how many you don't have. And it's easy to waste them if you've got expiry dates that go way over. So in this, you're gonna see things like multiple vegetables, canned fruits. You're gonna find these are diced tomatoes. You're gonna find some different canned beans, green chilies. There's lentils, there's baked beans down there, there's canned chili, there's canned soups. We have evaporated milk and condensed milk for baking, and our boys like to make coffee creamer out of it. We've got pie fillings. There's cherry, apple, blueberry pie filling, because who said food storage needs to be boring? Remember all the flour that we have? Well, why not be able to make a pie? In the middle of a disaster, why can't you make a pie? If you can cook it, you can make it. This is really where convenience lives, because you can simply take from wherever these are labeled, because we have multiple bays for some of these items, like diced tomatoes we use a lot of. So we've got 3 different bays of diced tomatoes. But when you're ready to use one, you pull from where it's labeled. So you pull this out and then they rotate forward. It's a beautiful thing. Now let's pretend this is a new can from the store. So I put it in the first one, not the labeled one, but the first one over here, and you put it in the top. So then as you rotate through, you rotate this one to this one, and then this one to this one, and then you're always pulling from your oldest stock. Think about this. On hard days, canned food keeps you fed without a lot of effort, and that matters during emergencies. Now we've moved into our cold room. This room stays between 40 and 50 degrees, which extends the shelf life for certain foods. What is stored in here? Well, there is a lot of peanut butter. That is a compact protein source. There's butter chicken sauce. Remember all that rice? You need a way to make it really tasty. There's lots of condiments. We've got big things of ketchup. Behind me, you can see a lot of pickles, and there were a lot more home canned pickles, but those are all eaten up. But what we do have is something that is a family favorite, and that is dilled beans. I love these, and these were put up in September. So there's some garlic in there, some dill and some spice, a little bit of cayenne. Another thing in here that I really love are these white carrots. So these are white carrots instead of orange carrots, and we just like them a lot better. And these are also dilled, and they have a little bit of a kick to them with some cayenne and other spices. And don't forget about these. These are really good. These are candied crab apples. What a way to make use of a crabapple tree than candying them, and you can have this as a dessert. Another thing we keep a lot of, and it doesn't necessarily need to be cold in here, but it is large amounts of whey protein powder as a supplement. This just goes a long ways in getting your protein levels up when you might not be able to get it from food. So we stock, well, there's 5 bags up here, and then of course there's a bunch in our upstairs system as well, and you're going to see that as we go. Switching back to some home canned foods, because I just can't leave these out. And these, if you like spice, you'll like these, but these are pickled habaneros, and you can see we put these up in October this year. Let's talk about oils. We have several kinds here, and they are down here. And because it's very cold in here, these oils are almost solid, but this is avocado oil. We carry a lot of that. We carry MCT oil. We carry coconut oil, and we also carry olive oil. Along with that, for ease of cooking, we carry a lot of cans of cooking spray because we primarily cook on cast iron skillets. And it goes on and on. I'll get out of the way so you can see there's salsa, some hot sauce. Again, there's some store-bought pickles. There is habanero sauce, and then you've got all of your vinegar down there. There's some apple cider vinegar in the corner. And then up here, you've got apple butter, you got apple sauce. Here you've got some onions from our garden last year. So some yellow onions, some white onions. And this whole thing is filled with garlic as well. And then there's more onions down there. We had so many onions from the garden last year. And what we did is I actually chopped these up and put them in a dehydrator and made them into jars like this. So I have several jars, and you can see we had red onion and yellow onion and white onion that all went into these jars, and these will definitely last us more than a year. And it's nice because you can basically, a whole onion is just a handful of this, and you just put it into a recipe, let it rehydrate, and cook it in with your ground beef or whatever. It's really good. We have all sorts of things in here, like protein bars, dates, figs, popcorn, canned tuna and chicken, corned beef and sardines, dehydrated hash browns, and also something interesting I wanted to share, and that would be homemade hardtack and beef tallow. This hardtack was made about 4 years ago, and it is good and is going to stay that way. And this beef tallow, again, made several years ago, and it just keeps getting used. Store-bought and homemade raspberry jam. And did I mention peanut butter? So this room is where flavor and morale lives. Emergency food without flavor leads to appetite fatigue. It's a real thing. And food waste and low morale. Flavor keeps people eating, and eating keeps people healthy. Home canned foods are a force multiplier. They preserve harvests, they reduce freezer dependence, and they create ready-to-eat meals. Dill pickled carrots and green beans, peppers, they add a lot to your meals. acidity and spice, crunch, and just that emotional comfort of really yummy food. Candied crab apples, like I said, jams, applesauce, and even garlic and honey for immune support. Preparedness isn't just storage, it's skills. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. You can have all this food and you can spend thousands of dollars and still fail during an emergency, because food storage is not just a collection. It is a working system. And if the system doesn't work together, it collapses under stress. Let me show you what I mean. This right here is the heart of the video. This system works because dry staples provide the calories, canned goods provide speed and convenience, cold storage provides fats and flavors, and home canned foods provide meals that you just can't buy at the store. Each layer provides and supports for the others. Plus, in part 2 next week, I'm going to add in our freezer system and properly rotate everything. With this system, you can build meals from scratch or grab something fast, or combine both. And all of this today does not require electricity. This flexibility is what makes it sustainable. Emergency food should reduce your stress. It should fit into your daily life. It should be used and replenished, not sit untouched for years. And you can start small with a real budget. If you're just starting, don't copy everything all at once. Start with some extra pasta, extra rice, extra canned food, and add slowly. Build your confidence. Focus on what your family eats that is storable. Or make storage meals a few at a time and try them out on your family. Once you have some winners, you can put up more food. Preparedness is a process, not a finish line. And remember, it comes in layers. In the next video, I'm going to build directly on this system and show you exactly how I rotate this food into our everyday kitchen pantry so that nothing goes to waste and everything stays fresh. And we will get into the freezers as well. Subscribe and come back next week for more of this system. This is where preparedness becomes an effortless system. If this video helped you, like it and share it with someone who wants peace of mind without the panic. Because emergency food storage doesn't have to be extreme, it just has to be intentional. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.